Thank you so much for inviting me here to speak with you this evening. I love giving these talks. And one of the things I love most about it is every time it's a new topic, because I always have my host choose my topic. But I was always chosen to be on the best teams, and I really didn't deserve to be there. But I learned very quickly how to shut up. And then over time, I learned how to be a productive member of the team where I was not the smartest guy in the room. And I learned how to make the other members of my teams more productive, even though they were doing things that I personally couldn't do. And that was the single most important lesson I got out of college. And it's the thing that I think is probably the theme of my career. It's just working with people who are better than me. It's a lesson that I also learned from the Glass Studio. Maestro, how do you put a foot on a bowl? And he said to me, well, the answer I was expecting was that he would go and demonstrate. Instead, he did something different. He said, you make a foot. And so I went to the furnace, as I'd done 1,000 times, and I pulled the glass out, and just as I was about to drop it, he put his hand on my shoulder. He said, wait, now. And when he said now, I dropped the glass, and it went on perfectly. And this blew my mind, because I had been doing it right for 10 years, but I'd been doing it at the wrong time. And all of a sudden, I saw this lesson all over my life. And one of the things we've done very well at Square was we launched at the right time. We launched in 2008. We were in the middle of a recession, so I could hire the best talent. We launched in an industry where there had been no innovation for over a decade. We launched at a time when social media was allowing companies that didn't lie to their customers to spread the word without having massive marketing budgets. We just got the timing right. And I talk about timing because, frankly, I think I'm not qualified to talk about execution. I'm not going to follow Jack Welch and talk about how to do something right, okay? But timing was important, and the only thing I am going to offer in the way of how were some things that I've been doing for years that have been controversial. So these are the things that I do that always get me those sort of double takes. The first is I don't plan, I build. Now, I'm not saying you build an airplane this way, but if there is ever an opportunity for me to build an object, I will build the object as opposed to writing up a plan. This is the first reader we built for Square. And I made this thing out of brushed aluminum because I was planning to meet Steve Jobs, and I was afraid that it wouldn't be beautiful enough for Steve Jobs. And since he was building his computers out of brushed aluminum, I built my Square out of brushed aluminum. But there's a problem with brushed aluminum, and that is it conducts electricity. And so when you touch this thing with your hand, it picks up the heartbeat, and it doesn't work. But a day after I discovered that, I built one out of plastic. So it goes hand in hand with the second thing that I do that frustrates people, which is I fail very fast. I iterate very, very quickly. If you look at the battle between Google and Apple right now for operating systems, the Google Android operating system used to be a piece of garbage. It's now arguably better than the iPhone because Apple releases every 2 years, whereas Google releases every 3 months. The other thing that I've been doing, and this is all over Square, is we don't ask for permission. We just do it. And a piece of advice I got from Grace Hopper, who was a commencement speaker at my graduation, who said, basically, if it's a good idea, go ahead and do it. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than to get permission.
Thank you so much, Jim. Have a seat. Have a drink of water. That was very inspirational. Thank you. How do one develop a lasting winning strategy when everything moves so fast?
Well, the trick is you don't do it alone. The trick we have at Square is we have 700 employees. We have complete open information in the company, so we announce everything internally publicly, or internally in the company before we announce it publicly. And we have a very flat structure where people are organized into small teams and they get to innovate. And if you've got 700 really smart people and they sort of understand the problem that you're trying to solve, they'll come up with unique solutions.
How do you have this drive to say, okay, no matter if I'm going to be run over, I'll just going to keep on going? How do you get that drive?
Well, I mean, in my case, part of it's fear. No, I mean, to be honest, fear is one of the things. And you tend to lose touch with this after you're successful. Like, after it works, you tend to forget that, the road was treacherous, and you just think, wow, I'm the only guy skiing this mountain. How come nobody else came here, right? And we tend to backwards rationalize our success. But if I'm to be honest, really, every time I'm in a new business and I'm working properly, there is an element of fear. So I fly airplanes too, okay? I have a little airplane, and I fly. And it's the same thing. Every time I get into my airplane, I'm afraid. Like, I am absolutely afraid when I, get in the plane and take off, and I have to deal with everything. And it's not that hard to fly an airplane, okay? So don't worry about that. But you got to do it right. Like, it does matter. You can't screw that up. So over the years, I've just learned, even though I'm afraid, to just go anyway. Just drive the road. Just keep going. And I'm one of these guys. I won't say that I'm not afraid a lot. I am. Like, I was afraid giving this speech. Okay,
well, you
flat
did a
out.
good job.
Well, look, this is scary, but you do it, and I'm just used to working in that state of mind.
What is your view on the Danish business and the way we do things?
I think it's magic. I mean, I think the Scandinavian countries, like, stuff works here. It doesn't work. Like, socialism works here. It doesn't work anywhere else. How'd you do that? Like, I'm really, I'm just fascinated by this. This is probably the most functional society on the planet. And I'm amazed by it. It's no good for me because you don't have as many problems. Like, I need, I'm more comfortable in some of the other countries, but it's amazing. Every time we're here, I'm just blown away.